measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Well, Monday Night Football did not disappoint. Surprisingly, Kansas City goes into Pittsburgh, puts up a fight, loses in overtime 16-13.
I thought we were going to get out of the game without a turnover, but Matt
Almost.
Gasso wouldn't hear of it.
Well, we never got to test Romeo's promise that anyone that turns the ball over will be benched because the Pittsburgh Steelers scored on the next play, winning the game. Competitive game for Kansas City. I mean, we can't take away the fact that the team came to fight, came to play. Of course, Ben Roethlisberger goes down, and that changed the game for Pittsburgh, I think. But the Chiefs already started with a 10-0 lead, which is unfathomable. Got our first lead of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they came well prepared. I thought it was going to be a different Kansas City Chiefs team that I'd see out on the field until Holly and Houston got that double-team sack, and they did their, I guess they worked on the celebration. It looked like there was a lot in it, and then when Leftwich had the incomplete pass, but they thought it was a fumble and returned it for a touchdown, which got called back because it was an incomplete pass. They also had another group celebration that they must have worked on, so I'm glad they're doing that instead of watching more film, practicing harder.
1-7 teams on the road in a tight game. I don't think you should probably be exercising your right to do the Dougie or whatever they were doing. I still don't know, and I don't care to know because I never want to see it again. This is kind of a joke, I think, and the announcers were making jokes about it on the air. Gruden and Mike Tirico were, what is this? You're 1-7. I mean, you've made a sack. It's a good play. Wow. It just shows, I think, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, that this team's just a loose ship. There's no leadership. There's nobody to take accountability for any of this, and it's just silly. Like, who wants to see that?
Yeah, I made a status on Facebook about how the inmates seem to be running the asylum with all these you just don't see that on other coach, like Bill Belichick coach team. I don't think you're going to see Rob Ninkovich and Jermaine Cunningham doing sack dances together.
And if they did, they probably would have earned that right. Being a good football team and program like they are, the Chiefs not so much. And I just don't think that I don't know if it was a Monday night thing, like, hey, let's plan something in case something goes on a Monday night game, and we'll get out there, get more Twitter followers out of it. I don't know, but
if so, that makes me sick, and they should just get the heck out of here.
I'm with you, but I think this team came to play. The defense really fought hard, really stopped the run. I thought Dwyer was going to be a bigger factor, and they held him in check. And then when Roethlisberger went down, obviously someone like Leftwich is not going to be throwing the ball all over you. And it was a tight game, and the bad conditions helped. The Chiefs had a good game plan. Charles was successful early, but the Steelers do prevail. And at the end of it, though, I don't know. It's just a different feeling when you lose a game in overtime. On a Monday night game, 15 years ago, I would be just running through the streets, horrified right now, crashing into cars and turning them over. But
moving from 1-7 to 1-8 doesn't really get my anger pumping as it would back in the day when that could cost us a playoff spot.
No, you just turn it off and go to sleep, I think, here. Maybe it's just the old age for us, too, getting up there.
I don't think so. I think if we were a contending team, we would be livid tonight, blowing up. So.
Yeah, and Chiefs fans, I'll tell you what, the silver lining here is that the team did play well. You're 1-8. You're still heading towards that draft pick. You haven't lost any ground there. Keep that in mind, please. And when people want to talk about how we are not getting it, we are not real fans for cheering for losses. When the Chiefs are playing football, you're not sitting here going, go Pittsburgh. You want the Chiefs to be successful on the field. It's just you need to be able to take it in perspective at the end of the game, realize that at 1-8, that the best way to get better is to have the worst season ever, and we are having that right now.
Yeah, I mean, kind of rooting for losses or being okay with it after the game and realizing that this is the best thing for the future of the team. Like, I wanted to suck for luck last year, and people were on me about that. But, I mean, that would have been better for our future, having Andrew Luck. I mean, he just looks absolutely amazing. 6-3 right now. Just, if he would have been a Chief, I mean, That'd be even better than getting Matt Barkley this year.
Absolutely, and that's what people I don't think understand. Think about this: the Chiefs started last year 0-3. They were in the running for this. They put together some wins down the stretch. The Colts did not. The Colts get Andrew Luck. The Broncos get Peyton Manning. We had Castle again. That's what we got for our trouble of stringing together meaningless wins down the stretch. Keep in mind, that does not help you. Please know that.
Yes, and going back to tonight's game, I think the injury of Ben Roethlisberger obviously really hurt them. Coming into the game without Antonio Brown, I don't think Emmanuel Sanders was ready to step up as the number 2 receiver. And not having Mendenhall for these past couple weeks, I think you really saw that really affect the Steelers' running game. I don't think Dwyer or Redmond are the answer to their running game problems. They just seem to not be able to hit the holes, find the holes, and explode through. They're kind of more physical, bigger backs that just kind of want to hit the pile and 3 yards in the cloud of dust, as they say.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh football. But I'll tell you what, one guy I really got to give credit to, and I've been very lenient as far as giving credit to any single Chiefs player all year, but a guy I think has had a very solid season is Derek Johnson. He is making plays in the backfield. He is really putting the hurt on running backs in a lot of key, situations. And I think Derek Johnson, along with, of course, we've had Houston with probably, leading the team in sacks.
Brandon Flowers has had a good year.
Yeah, Flowers has. I mean, there's some silver line. And I think Don Terry Poe has played well.
I agree.
At nose tackle. I'm shocked as anyone, but I do like.
Maybe we'd be a little more excited if we weren't 1-8.
Yeah,
but, nose tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole team's a mess, and nose tackle's not going to win or lose a game for you.
And we're going to bring Tracy Greene on again to do some post-game with us. Of course, ex-Chief, ex-Steeler. He's been watching the game, and he's going to come on and help us break down what happened in this football game. But, guys, I've been hearing a lot of stuff now about Chiefs waffling on this quarterback situation as far as going into this offseason. Hearing a lot about people, well, we got to take Manti Te'o, Jarvis Jones, a defensive player, before, and then maybe take Tyler Bray, Tyler Wilson in the second, or move somehow back into the first and take one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the first round. Let me tell you something, you guys. We have Manti Te'os all over the field. Let me explain what I mean by that. We have first-round picks on defense all over the field that came out of college with the same pedigree that Manti Te'o had. Derek Johnson,
Eric
Tyson
Berry
Jackson.
might have come out of college with more.
Yeah, good point.
More fire, more.
He had it. He had all the tangibles. He
Yes.
was the man coming out of that draft in 2010. Eric Berry, it was the Manti Te'o of that draft. Different position, of course. But I want you to err on the side of caution when it comes to that, because the Chiefs' defense is littered with Manti Te'os. But you know what they don't have? They don't have an Andrew Luck. They don't have a Drew Brees. They don't have anybody, obviously, that can run this system, that can control, the team, that can make plays to win games. That's what's going to win for the Chiefs in the future. So trust me, you don't want to go that route. It's best quarterback available. I don't care who it grades out to be. It's that quarterback.
I agree. I mean, if that's Barkley, you take Barkley. If people want Wilson, heck, move back into the late first round or take in the second round Tyler Wilson. Back-to-back quarterbacks. Washington did it. I wouldn't mind doing it. You got to find your franchise guy, whoever that is. And if you got to take 2, 3, 4, 7, do it.
Well, we're going to see. Going forward, there's not going to be a lot, guys, to really break down and to get into. And we're going to continue to do that. Every game, we're going to be here for you pre- and post-game. Except I believe the final game against Denver, I'm going on some cruise to the Bahamas, and I don't have to witness that. So
lucky
you
man
can
sitting right here
congratulate me
next
now.
to me. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, we're going to continue to do this. I know these games get harder and harder to break down as the losses pile because they're playing for nothing at this point.
Exactly.
Zero.
And there's not much to say if you see the same thing week and week and week over. So one person I also wanted to mention from the team, Rapati Patoa-Tua.
Yeah.
He continues to show some flashes, and that's a guy to keep looking for throughout the season and see if he can stick around for next year.
There's some silver lining here. There's some players, and you're finding out maybe who those guys are now more than ever, that are still here to play. There's some fight left. The offensive line played better. We're going to see.
Also, we've been pretty rough on Eric Berry throughout this season. I think the last 2 games he started to step up and play a little bit better. So.
Maybe just getting his legs under him.
Coming back from that ACL injury. So
got to give him some credit. He's not out of position as much. He was there, covered. I think he's improving.
He broke up a pass in the corner of the end zone today. Brandon Flowers had nice coverage on Mike Wallace stride for stride down the field, which I didn't know if he could do because Mike Wallace is a burner, and That was really nice to see. Arenas. Let's talk about Javier Arenas.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought that Emmanuel Sanders or whoever they put over there would eat him alive. Yeah. He played amazingly tonight.
Agreed.
Out of his mind. Should have had that interception. Stone hands. That's why he plays corner, not receiver. That's what they always say. That's why they're cornerbacks on the defense, because they can't catch the ball.
Even Jaleel Brown.
He made a huge hit on Jonathan Dwyer.
I was shocked because Dwyer is
yeah.
so much bigger than a Jaleel Brown, and Brown got in position, made that tackle. That is not easy, guys.
Maybe there's something with this Gary Gibbs, the defensive coordinator. I don't know.
Maybe
we'll
see. It was better. Pittsburgh's been an on again, off again team this year. I don't think that they are probably one of the top, 2 or 3 best teams in the AFC. Maybe they are. We'll see as the season shakes out.
Not sure. It would have gone to overtime if Roethlisberger comes in the second half, but we'll never know. We took a good Steelers team even without Mendenhall, without Antonio Brown, without Ben Roethlisberger. I still wouldn't give us a chance to go into overtime, and that's what happened. And this team showed up and they played hard. Would have liked to see them not turn the ball over there at the end. Matt Castle focusing totally on Dwayne Bowe, even though he was triple covered. And I don't want to see the group celebrations coming up with those. So
this is not the Super Bowl shuffle. If you're the 85 Bears and just won the Super Bowl, you can probably make a music video about the Super Bowl shuffle. Not these Kansas City Chiefs do not need to be doing that. One thing I want to bring up, there were some weird calls in this game. We saw Kansas City what they thought had picked up a fumble for a touchdown, did a group celebration, got a penalty for it. They review the play, find out that it was not a fumble, but yet somehow the penalty still stands, even though the play never happened. If it's an incomplete pass, the play's dead right there. So they wouldn't have had a chance to pick up the ball, run it, and do the group celebration. So why does the penalty still stand? Yeah, if the refs made the,
we need to get Mike Pereira on head of officiating to have him explain that to me. I don't know how that penalty still stood because gave them a first down.
I mean, had the refs got the call right in the first place, we would not have been returning it like idiots for a touchdown. And
if the refs do their job, get the call right, then there's no penalty. So
he had an offensive pass interference against Tony Moyaki down the stretch, which is brutal. And in these games, the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home; they're the better team. I don't know if it's in the back of the referees' minds, but I think they know who the team that needs to win the game needs to win the game. I think that's in the back of people's minds. I'm not saying
that's
it's crooked.
Even as Chiefs fans. I mean, John Gruden and Mike Tirico said that was an awful call. So
there was some weirdness as far as that goes. But guys, that's how it goes. We're going to go ahead and bring on Tracy Greene right now, talk about a little more about this game and what went down and what he saw. And we are back with, once again, talking to Tracy Greene, who did some pregame with us. Tracy, I think a lot of people would not have expected the game to be this close, but when Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt in a game, I guess it's kind of a roll of the dice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Talk about how Pittsburgh. I think the Chiefs had a good game plan early on, running the ball with Charles, made a couple throws with Castle, but really the Steelers' defense really was able to prevail in the end here.
Well, like I told you earlier, I said, if the blitz package comes, if they confuse Castle, if they attack the offensive line, then Kansas City is going to have a hard time tonight. And actually, Kansas City kind of proved that what I said earlier was they're a good team. It's just that they don't have the consistency, the cohesiveness of a great team. And that's why they lost tonight. They had it together. Matt Castle came in. He did what he was supposed to do. He found his receivers. And at the end of the game, I don't know what he was looking at, but he wasn't looking at Bo like he should have been. If he would have seen that Bo had 3 men around him, that means someone else was open. Even if it was a leak out the backfield, he had other options. And he didn't go through his progression. I think he was looking for the money ball. I think he was looking to get in field goal range real quick and try to at least do something. And it proved wrong for him.
Yeah, he likes to force the ball to Bo a lot because that's his best option, obviously. But tonight we were looking at the Chiefs, and they didn't turn the ball over until the very end, so that kind of kept them in the game. What did you think about the Chiefs' game plan and keeping the ball on the ground, making some third down conversions through the air?
Well, they did good. And it was a good game plan because, like I said, Pittsburgh's defense is getting healthy, but it's not all the way there. And you saw that. Jamal Charles ran the ball pretty doggone good. So you have to think about a quarterback, even though Roethlisberger only had, 80-something yards, and I told you that he wasn't going to have a lot of yards. But with Matt Castle, really 17 passes, and I think what he ended the game with, maybe 100 or something, he probably had, 12 complete total? You can't win a game like that. Even if the rainy conditions or what have you, then you got receivers who's not catching the ball, like Baldwin or Copper or even Bo. When you have that, you're not going to be successful. The running to move the pile and try to run down the clock.
Yeah, definitely. What did you think of the this 1-7 Kansas City Chiefs team with Holly in Houston and then the group celebration? What do you think about that, and should they be more focused on watching film instead of coming up with group celebrations?
Thank you. Yes, of course they should. I mean, with 1-7, what are you celebrating? Is it because you haven't had a taste of victory? You haven't had a taste of a defense that can score at will, that can force the turnovers, that can put your offense in a position to win a game? And then also, they're just not focused. They're not focused. They're not together. No direction, none whatsoever. These guys just want to play football, but they don't want to play the style of football which Kansas City has always played to win. That means discipline, focus, do your job, work with your teammates, and win. When I played here, that's what it was about. It was about professionalism and winning. I didn't see none of that tonight. I saw a little bit, but not to the point where they could even win the game.
Well, we've seen Ben Roethlisberger go down with a shoulder injury. It looked kind of serious. He left the stadium, I believe, in the middle of the game, meaning that they might have taken him to a hospital for further evaluation. I mean, how is this going to hamper the Steelers going forward?
Well, you got Charlie Batch and you got Leftwich. I really don't think it's going to affect him too much at all. I don't think it's going to affect him too much at all because you got two proven quarterbacks, even though they're past their prime. Roethlisberger is the man, but I wouldn't count on Leftwich. A little bit more working with the offense, a little bit more as he gets back into the game, especially if Roethlisberger is going to be out for a while. Leftwich could be that man. He could have that second, the reviving of his career. Charlie Batch is a proven backup. He can handle it. He's not a proven starter. He's never going to be a starter, but he's a proven backup. Leftwich can still be a starter for the Steelers. Just in my eyes. I could be wrong.
What did you think of Leftwich's performance tonight? And I kind of differ with you. I think Charlie Batch could be a starter in this league. I mean, I know he's up there in age, but I watched him when he was with the Detroit Lions, and he kind of got shafted by the Marty Mornhinweg, Matt Millen regime, and then went to his hometown with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Charlie Batch should be the better option. What do you think?
Nah, I don't think Batch would be the better option. I think Leftwich, because he can throw the long ball, he can actually throw the ball with a little bit more accuracy. Now, I give Leftwich a grade of a C+ this season. He could have done a lot of things a lot better, such as that turnover. I mean, of course, the elements may have had to play the key in it, but he's got room for improvement even with his age. So you got to remember, Leftwich was out of football for a minute, and also he didn't do what he was supposed to do in Jacksonville. Wherever I think he was in Jacksonville, he got the shaft a little bit down there. Once he hurt his knee.
Well,
excuse me?
do you feel like at 1-8, I know the Chiefs were competitive in this game, but do you feel like that there's any way possible that Romeo Crennel survives this and continues on with this team in any capacity?
If Crennel survives this, he's going to have to be back in coordinator. I don't think he's going to be the head coach next year. I don't see it happening at all. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tracy, I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting going forward. We're going to see how things shake out. Cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight and earlier for pregame. You have a great night. We'll catch up with you soon, Tracy. You always add a lot of insight. And keep hitting us up on Facebook. We really appreciate it, my man.
All right, and thank you, and I will.
All right, Tracy, we'll talk to you.
Take care.
And that was our guy, Tracy Greene, joining us once again. Gosh, he did pregame with us. He did postgame. He is our go-to. He is there when we need him. Thank you, Tracy.
Tracy the Swami Greene. He called it in pregame. He called out a lot of things that came to fruition. The man is just right on about his Pittsburgh Steelers and these Kansas City Chiefs, and we should have him on more often if he's going to make predictions like that and they just come true. So
he has played for both teams. He knows them in and out. He was watching tonight, just like we were, and I think that we're going to take something from this. I think the Chiefs players, at least, I mean, maybe us as fans see it as a loss. We'll see if these players take something from this and can do something down the stretch, maybe win a game, beat the Panthers or somebody.
The Browns. Tracy said that he thinks that this Chiefs team is better than most people give it credit for if they come, and they just need some better coaching. They played hard tonight, but they just weren't consistent enough to come out with the W. So
on paper, they could be. We will see going forward. We will catch you guys next week. Be sure you're checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, our website. Just find us. Google the Outsiders Podcast. We'll come up somewhere. Good night.